Hey, good morning, Colby. This is a quick demo video for you for your KR Sabers Desert Wanderer Obi-Wan Kenobi Saber with a Goth Master chassis. This is installed with a Proffie. Like I said, it's got the Goth Master chassis. It's very nice. We'll break it all down. There are some modifications that I had to do to the Saber just to make sure that it had some ease of use. All right. You've got two sets of stock Neopixel connectors. I've, of course, got your blade plug in here for now, but I'll take that off here and show you that here in a second. This is a 2-button setup. So your big greebly right here will be your power, and your small copper greebly over here will be your auxiliary. All right. How to get to your chassis is you want to unscrew your pommel. When you do, realize that the pommel's very tight. All right. I did some minor Dremel work to the inside diameter or the ID of the pommel to get the chassis to fit. It's still a tight fit, but it fits where it just didn't before. So we're going to take this entire chassis out, which you'll probably have to do. It'll come out with the pommel. Just kind of grab it from here and just loosely work it off. All right, it'll come off. When I put the speaker inside this guy that was provided, this particular piece didn't fit very well. So I went in here. If you could see this, all the brass area inside the pommel is what I dremeled just to open up that ID a little bit so that the chassis would fit. All right, so nothing that you would see from the outside, just some minor inside work. So I did that. Also, something on this Saber that happens from time to time is you've got your switch PCB right here. And even though I knew about it happening, I tried to prevent it from happening. It happened to me anyway. I shaved this tactile switch off the first time I put it in the test. All right. What I did before I even tried to put it in the Saber is I took off the inside plungers of these switches. I filed them way down to almost wafer thin, put them in. I still shaved it off with this guy right here. So what I ended up doing, if I can get my camera to focus, this big cog, that's your power, right? I took that entire assembly and I unscrewed it a little bit so it sticks a little further out. It's not sitting out very much on the Saber, so I would say like aesthetically you wouldn't notice. But I took that entire plunger assembly and I moved it up a little bit, up out of the ID of the actual Saber so it wouldn't chop off that tactile switch. All right, so spend a little bit of time doing that. No biggie. But this is what we've got. So this is your master chassis. This is a very cool chassis to do. Lots of blinkies going on in this guy. So if you look over here, we'll start here. You got a 28mm KR speaker. You've got a kill switch. You've got your battery cover. Apologies for the camera work. You've got your battery cover here. You can take this and open it up. That exposes your battery. So it's a removable battery. You can take it out to charge it when you need to, but when you don't, it stays closed with magnets. All right. When you flip it over here, you've got some nice greeblies going on and some tubes. You have a 10 pixel accent strip right here that you can see. And then over here, you have another 10 pixel strip running along this side. All right. Moving over to the middle of the Saber, you have a crystal chamber. This door is held on with, it swings open, but it's held closed with magnets. So you could swing that open, see your crystal chamber there, and right on top of the crystal chamber, you have a rotating plasma gate. So I'll show you that here in a second. So you can open this at any time to check that out. We'll just close it for now. You have an OLED screen right here, so we'll show you that. Your Proffie board is sitting over here. So again, this is on magnets. When you open this up, normally I would have all of my wires hidden, but I did put a, what is that, a 5 pixel accent strip right on top of the board. And I did have to run a few wires on top of the board. So I apologize for that, something that couldn't be helped. So typically I just like to hide all of my wiring. All right, but you've got that right there. We'll close that. Easy access though to your SD card and your micro USB. You will need a 90-degree data cable to get to this guy. Looks like that. All right, and when you have that, you know, there's just enough room for it to slide in and clip in. All right, and that's how I program the board. Now, I just have the one sound font of yours on here for now, the Obi-Wan Kenobi. There is a copy of the config file on the SD card because there is a lot of stuff going on. All right, this Saber has 4 blade styles that you'll see on that config. The first blade style will be your blade. The second blade style, I believe, is, well, I mean, I know for sure, right? The second blade style are these two LED strips right here. They run together but separate from everything else. The third blade style is the actual crystal in your crystal chamber. And then your fourth and final blade style is the coating for your rotating plasma gate. All right, so you'll see all that in there. Hopefully it's easy enough to read. That's another reason why, you know, I only like to do kind of like one font on these guys. It gives you a config that's pretty easy to follow in case you want to build off of that. All right, but we can come over here and flip this on. You've got your OLED screen. This is my personal animation that I had Brian Connor make for me. So it just says Solo Sabers, and that happens on boot up. If you were to hit auxiliary and go to your font, it would say Obi-wan.
Obi-wan Kenobi.
So Obi-wan right there. You've got your crystal pulsing. You've got your the top of the board lighting up, and of course these over here. And everything's on a timer. So if we don't turn this saber on right away, we got about 40 seconds before everything just shuts down so it doesn't kill your battery. We'll hang out here for a second so I can show you that. Just like that. All right, just like that. So when you turn this on, well, we'll turn it on outside the saber first so you can see your rotating plasma gate. So remember, this bottom button is your power. Now if I were to come over here and open this, you can see your crystal goes to a solid blue, and you've got your rotating plasma gate up here. You've got your battery meter up here on your OLED screen. We'll close that up. Of course, you've got your second set of stock NPXLs. Those are lighting up like they should. And then I made the top of the board animation is wired in line with these guys. So you don't have to worry about programming this. This will match whatever these two strips are doing over here. All right. And then you can twist it off. Now when you go to put it in the saber, you'll notice in person better, but there is a groove in the chassis right here. All right, and that groove is meant to go right underneath the control box because there are two longer screws popping out from underneath this guy that act as a chassis retention or a chassis clocking system. All right, so two things you'll want to look out for. One, you're going to want to line up that groove with the top of the control box, and then obviously you're going to want to take your switch PCB, which is right here, right? And you'll want to line it up with your two switches. All right, so we'll do that real quick. Take your time and be easy with it, please. Just kind of finagle it in there. It goes in fine, but it's not something you just want to go jamming in there. If you jam it in there real fast, then you might actually shave one of those tactile switches off too, and that's a real bummer. Sorry. All right, so once you get it in there like that, you can take your pommel, come over here and put it on. Again, just be easy with it. Work it back and forth. Before I did the Dremel work to the inside of the pommel, that chassis did not fit inside there at all. All right, but once I did that, you know, everything's good. We'll just come over here and we'll lock our pommel all the way down until it stops. Now everything is locked in place and we can hit power. You know, you've got your LEDs in here firing up. A nice smooth swing. Copper is your auxiliary. Let's twist it off and we'll talk about your emitter. This is your emitter that is used for your blade. Oh, your blade plug's in here. I was looking for your blade plug. This is used for display. So when you want to put a blade in it, you have to take this off. Grab the emitter right here because you don't want to untwist any of this. I hand cranked it as tight as I could, but still you want to kind of give it some support. Only unscrew this top piece. All right, and when you unscrew that top piece, your blade plug will also fall out. So the blade plug and the display emitter go together. All right, we'll put that off to the side. You'll want to grab this emitter out of your box. This is for a blade because it has that extra lip right there that gives you some added blade depth. So you simply just take it, screw it on here. All right. Now you can put it on here firmly, but don't crank it as hard as you can because when you go to take it back off, you may take all of this neck area with you. So you don't want to do that. All right. So we'll put that emitter on. We'll make sure to grab our You know, we've got 3 blade retention screws. We need to make sure that they're all out of the blade socket, which they currently are. You can see those located at equal intervals right here underneath the lip. So, you know, 1, 2, 3. Make sure those are backed up out of the blade socket. Put your blade in. You can feel it bouncing on the pins, so that's good, right? And we'll just come over here. For the sake of the demo, I'm just going to use 1 blade retention screw. I don't imagine you're going to want to be swinging this too much, you know, just because of the pure cost factor in the chassis. But if you do want to swing it around, you know, moderately, I would go ahead and I would tighten all 3 of those down. All right, but once you get those tightened down, we can come over here once again and hit power. Now we got a nice blue blade. And a nice smooth swing action, right? Blaster bolts is just tapping auxiliary. Blade lockup is holding auxiliary down and hitting the saber. Now this is my test blade, so you can only see it when I got the saber vertical, right? You won't see it when I go horizontal with it. And the reason for that is the blade lockup on this particular blade, it's localized and it moves. So you'll start off, you know, it'll be about the middle of the blade. As you move it up in vertical like this, it moves closer down to the emitter. And then as you go back horizontal like this, it moves its way back out towards the tip of the blade. All right. You have a soundtrack. So to play that, it's a long press on the power. Right. And another long press to turn it off. Whoops, not long enough. There we go. All right, so one more time. Now this is my shorter test blade, but this is programmed for a full-length blade. All right, you'll see that in the config. I think I set it at about 138 pixels. Good flash on clash. Just like that, and we'll break it back down. All right, take the blade out. I did have to do something on this saber that I don't normally do, and I had to use a new define. I don't even remember the name of it, but on top of the clash threshold, which I have set at about a 4.2, I had to use a new define to get rid of the false clashes on here, and I set that particular define at about 25. You'll see that at the top of your config. If you ever need help with something or setting it up, let me know. I'm happy to walk you through it. All right, but when we're done, we take our blade out. We'll go ahead and unscrew our pommel. It is going to be tight, just like at the beginning of the video. But just take your time, unscrew it. If it wants to pull the chassis out, that's fine, right? And we can take the entire thing and just kind of wiggle it off from here. Just like that. All right, so to show you that the kill switch works, we'll flip this on. And then we'll flip it off with our kill switch that's right here. And now it kills everything like it should. All right. And that is basically your Desert Wanderer with Goth Master chassis. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will try my best to get this actually out in the mail to you today. All right. Thanks, man.